to episode 96 of the Tea and Possibilities podcast. I'm Nikki, and this is a podcast all about knitting, crochet, and making all the things here in East London. Yes, if you missed it, I am now based in East London, not Northwest. There has been a move, as you can probably tell by the background. Apologies for the flowers. They look dreadful. I cannot flower arrange. This is not a podcast about flower arranging, thankfully. Also, don't know if anyone's noticed, but it's daylight. Despite being up really late, it is daylight. So there's no ambient mood lighting this time. There's no romance. I'm sorry there's not romance, but hopefully you can see things better. Also, I was only here a couple of weeks ago, so this is looking quite a bit like regularity. It is positively reliable. So we'll see if this continues. Now, before I get into the podcast proper, I want to say a massive thank you. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this podcast. Welcome, I really hope you enjoy it. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you for sticking around and bearing with me at my most sometime-ish. As always, everything I mention in the episode will be linked just down below, and I will be marking everything very clearly, Ravelry or non-Ravelry, where I can find a non-Ravelry equivalent. How I didn't trip up over all of that, I don't know. I'm very, very proud of myself. Also linked down below is my Ko-fi account, so if you'd like to get me a coffee, specifically at this time of year, a pumpkin spice latte, I would very much appreciate it. Speaking of pumpkins, you may have noticed I have a new mug. This is, oh God, I nearly tipped it over then. Don't know if you can see that. It's from Starbucks, and it is a pumpkin. My friend found it on TikTok, sent it to me, and I went off in search. We both went in search, and I was the one that found them. I'm out of milk, and I haven't done a shop run yet. I was gonna go and then film because my hair's a mess, and I wanted to get a clip because I left my clip on a flight this week. Tangents, but I stayed up quite late, and so I slept late. And so I decided just to get the filming done, and then I will go out afterwards. But in my lovely pumpkin mug, because 'tis the season, I have got a Twinings green tea with jasmine, because I don't have milk. I have actually had a coffee this morning due to said late night, and also I just kind of have coffee at the weekends. I've got an espresso machine, and it's quite a nice thing to have first thing on a Saturday, Sunday morning, or in the case of this weekend, Monday as well, because Monday is a bank holiday. I am also going to very quickly apologise if there's weird lights, cars, reflections, what can I do? And yes, speaking of bank holiday, it's a very weird time in the UK right now, due to the death of the Queen. She's 96 and it shouldn't be shocking, but it kind of is, because I've never known anything different, and suddenly there's going to be a new face on my stamps and my banknotes, and you know, the E2R thing is just going to be gone. So that's a bit weird. Yeah, that's probably all I'm going to talk about, the Queen's death, because that is a whole other subject and the country's gone a little bit mad. But we're not going to go into that because this is a knitting and crochet podcast, so we'll stick to that. Which is a borderline professional way of saying, let's move on to whipped up. Now I'm going to be really honest with you and say, no foes, no hoes. Sorry, I know, what a letdown. But I was actually traveling this past week, and I didn't mention it on the podcast because now I live alone, and I kind of feel like that's the kind of thing that I shouldn't mention. I didn't tell my corner shop either, so I was gone for about 6 days, and when I came in Wednesday morning to get milk, they were like, oh my God, where have you been? We thought you died. So yeah, that's safety first, guys. But yeah, so because I'd gone away, I didn't take my cardigan with me because I was on a flight, and it's a bit cumbersome to be working on a flight, but I am still working on my Gigi cardigan. It's in my hide and hammer bag. This is one of my favorite bags. I absolutely love this thing. And I haven't really made much more progress. Most of the progress has been reading how I connect Have I got them here? How I connect all these disparate pieces together. But as I said, it is a bank holiday weekend. I'm hoping to do a big organise of my wardrobes on Sunday because most of the shops are going to be shut on Monday, so I can't go and get storage solutions on Monday. So I'm hoping to get all of my stuff done today and tomorrow, and then I can work on this on Monday. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe it will get finished. I really hope it will get finished. But this is the Gigi cardigan by Woodward, and it is knit in Paintbox Cotton DK, and I did it in various colours. I think I've got them all listed on Ravelry. I'm not sure. I've probably still got them on my Love Crafts account, so I can check there if you did want to know specifically what colours. But yeah, I do really love this, and we are heading into autumn, so it's not going to be the summery cardigan of dreams, but it will be my Technicolor autumn coat. So, you know, it does feel like we need to start layering up. I wore a sweatshirt into work on Thursday. I had to go in because I'd left my laptop there, and it's a cropped sweatshirt, so I had all this bit out, which I probably shouldn't expose on the podcast either. How risque. And I was a bit chilly. I was a bit chilly, and I only wore it because it's what I had clean. I'd got back the night before, no, Tuesday night. My laundry wasn't dry. It's what I had to hand. So there we go. But yeah, I think that'd be a nice little layering piece because we're not quite in full coat weather, and I need something a little bit lighter, and that should do the job. It is a real shame that I couldn't take it on holiday with me because I went to New York, so the flight was about 8 hours. 8 hours? Oh, I don't know. To be honest with you, people always ask me how long flights are, and I don't think it's any of my business. I just get on them, make myself comfortable, and once I've got on them, you know, bets are off. It's not my job anymore. I just sit there till you tell me to get off. I trust in the people who are flying the plane. So I think it was about 8 hours. I was mid-row on the flight going out, and we had 2 seats coming back, and I had the aisle seat. Neither of which would have been particularly convenient because it is quite bulky when you're putting something together. You need space. You know, the first one was a night flight, also not ideal. So yeah, it's a shame because that was a long time. I could have probably finished it. That is becoming something of a refrain about this cardigan. I could have finished it, but I didn't. Also, my hair is an absolute mess. I really need to, I've had to start parting my fringe because look at this. I can't see. So yeah, sorry about the hair, but yeah, I should probably start getting my fringe cut a little bit shorter so it lasts longer, because it only lasts about 2 weeks and then I start looking like the extra member of the Backstreet Boys, which is not ideal, but we move. So yeah, that's the non-progress on my cardigan. I've read the pattern, I have an understanding of how it goes together. I've just been a bit too jet lagged to actually work on it. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, I've been rewatching Doctor Who from the beginning. I say beginning, I mean the new Who beginning, so Chris Eccleston, and I'm up to season 3. I'm about halfway through 10's first season with 9. 10's first season with 9? 10's first season with Martha. And I've got a really good project to be working on while I watch that. And it will come as no surprise to anybody, I hope, that it's in this one. And I talked about this last episode. I nearly said last week, but I caught myself. And this is the Litmus Cowl by Jude Harper, and it's knit in the Pride mini skein set, which was curated by Stranded Dyeworks, so Jude of Stranded, but every mini in the rainbow has been dyed by a different dyer. I'm also using First Frost by Stranded as the dividing colourway between each colour so that the colours can pop individually. This is going to be a monster cowl. This is going to be so big, but I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. Now, my postcard of info is a little bit squished because I left it in the bag and took it to New York with me, which was a bizarre decision to have taken, but anyway. But I have done so far the black, which was by What Mustard Made. I'm just going to read that to you. So Tracy has been running What Mustard Made since 2017. She primarily dyes neon yarns and can't get enough of them. A neurodivergent, asexual, omni-romantic, Tracy came out as ace last year. So that's the black, and I'm going to show you the black. Now, I said that I would do a close-up on this when it was finished, and as you can see, nowhere near finished, but hopefully this is picking up, because as you can see, it isn't just black. Like little pops of purple and blue and green. It's a bit like an oil slick. You know, when you see the rainbow in oil on the pavement, it's properly stunning. And I don't think it's picking up on here, so I think it needs to be seen in real life. So yeah, I'll do a close-up of it when it's finished. I'll go like through every color. The brown, I'm on the brown now. And the brown is by Stranded, so by Jude himself. Jude is a late blooming trans man and the owner and dyer of Stranded, a small batch yarn company currently based in the Kingdom of Fife and established in 2015. I love that, because I remember when Stranded started and I thought how amazing and genius he was, and just got better, because this brown is gorgeous. And like, brown could easily have been like the boring colour, but not the way Jude has done it. Not the way Jude has done it. To be fair, the black could have been just plain black. And the way they have done this is just beautiful. So Jude has really, I don't know, like there's something textured about it. It's very tonal. Obviously, I have only done a few rows, so you can't see it as well. But it's textured, it's tonal. It's got a real natural bark sort of feel. I love this. Like, I would happily make a whole cardigan out of this brown. It's just gorgeous, chocolatey goodness. Look how gorgeous that is. Really, really lovely. So yeah, what I'll do is, as I complete a stripe, I will tell you who dyed it, and I will read the little blurb about them off of this. And when it's finished, we'll do a little tour through the colorways. And as I said, first frost, this beautiful cool grey will be between every single one of them. Now, the Litmus pattern is a free pattern, so I'm not giving away any secret sauce here, but Jude does say to provisionally cast on 100 stitches, which I originally did, but I believe the minis that he used in the Litmus cowl that he knit were about 10 grams, whereas these are 20, and it was just getting really, 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 really thick. So I decided to unpick it, do it again, and I doubled it. So it's going to be a nice wide cowl, but it will also be very long. And I'm doing, for the grey stripe, about half the thickness of the coloured stripe, which will hopefully make the grey last. But if not, I'll have to get some more. Oh dear. So this is going to be my carry along knitting, because it's literally just round and round and round. I'm not magic looping, as you can see, so it's even easier. It's my kind of go-to. It looks like a little skirt, doesn't it? Whee! This has become my go-to knitting for watching telly, if I'm reading, all of that kind of stuff. It will take a while, because there's a lot of it, but I do want to cast on some socks as well, because I am aware that the West Yorkshire Spinners did it first time, have released their Christmas colourway for 2022. It is Gingerbread House. I also have Gingerbread House by Jinx Yarns, so I need to cake those up and get those cast on. I've got my next long meeting in sort of mid-October time, so I will definitely need a project. It will either be those socks or this little beauty. I actually didn't do the manager's meeting. It was actually the day I was due to fly, because between moving and everything, I had forgotten to book the day off or book a half day. Don't recommend that. And I think my boss took pity on me and could see I was quite stressed out and was like, just go on your holiday, it's fine, you've done your slides, I'll sort them. Which was great, because it means that I came home and there were no action points for me, because I wasn't there to hear them. So yeah, those are my two whips. My mojo is coming back, because as autumn descends, I'm looking at the trees, they're turning golden orange. As autumn descends, the mojo rises, the knitting sap rises. But I also don't want to have a load of things on the go. I might just cast on one cheeky pair of socks just to keep, you know, going with my Christmas box of socks. But in the meantime, I'll be working on this and finishing up my cardigan. So that's it for Whipped Up this week. It wasn't a particularly long one or particularly content heavy, but it is what it is. I've always said this about on the podcast, where I'm not going to force myself to do things or knit a load of stuff just to have content. I want to share with you what I'm actually working on. I want to share with you when my mojo's low, when my mojo's high, when I'm too busy to knit, or when I can only knit simple things. So what you see is what you get. But now that we're done with whipped up, let's move on to knit and natter. For knit and natter, it only seems natural that I would talk about my trip. So why did I go to New York? Well, a friend of mine moved out there in July-ish, and I've never been. I've only ever been to the West Coast, California, so I've been to San Diego, San Francisco, etc. And I've never been to anywhere else in the United States. So a few of us said, you know what, we're gonna go and visit her, which is what we did. And we got there on Wednesday night. It was very late, so we pretty much crashed straight away. And then on Thursday, we took it really chilled. We did a little bit of shopping. I had some things to pick up for friends, because if they hear you're going to America, they're like, go to Sephora for me. So I did that. And then we got ready to go to a yacht party. Yeah, that was fun. The yacht party was very fun. We saw a lot of the city lit up. We sailed, is it a yacht? Yeah, I guess it is sailing, past Lady Liberty. Beautiful, beautiful night. I think it was full moon or almost full moon, so it was just gorgeous. Had such a great time, had the best time. We then went on to somewhere else, and we got back quite late. I can't lie, we got back quite late. We had another chilled one on Friday. We just kind of wandered around the city. We were quite near to the World Trade Center where we were staying, so we went and had a look at the memorial there, and then we went to see Hadestown. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before, I'm not a fan of musicals. I don't know why, I'm just not really big into them. I love Mamma Mia, that's probably the one exception. I really enjoy that film. But yeah, not a massive fan of musicals. But you know, when in New York, and my friends are big fans, and that was one of the only ones they hadn't seen. And it's about the Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. So right up my alley. And it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. There were parts that I was a little bit like, beginning and end, I thought were perhaps a little rushed. They didn't quite have the emotional impact that I'd hoped for. But I did enjoy the music. I have since been listening to it. So there you go. I believe it was the original cast as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I went to Broadway, we had some drinks. And then Saturday night, what did we do on Saturday? Saturday, we went to Brooklyn General, and I've put away the yarn and not got it out. I'm gonna go and get it. I got this at Brooklyn General. There were 2 knitters in the group, and everyone else was very patient, so thank you. And we went to Brooklyn General, and I got this. This is Little Fox yarn, and on their Vixen base, which is, help if I turned it the right way up, 80% superwash merino, 20% silk, which is delicious. It's fingering weight, and it is in the Pennies from Heaven colorway. And yeah, that's quite a Nikki colorway, isn't it? So I got that as some souvenir yarn. I'm gonna knit socks out of this, obviously. I'm gonna see if I can find a pattern that kind of evokes the bridges or the Empire State or something that looks a little bit New Yorky, so that it's not just a plain sock. Because I keep saying that I want to knit more patterned socks. This is gonna be a patterned sock because it is beautiful, but I think a pattern would just make it spark so much more. So that's what we did on Saturday. I went out for a coffee. We went out that evening to go to a cocktail bar, which was very fun, all dressed up. And then we had breakfast on Sunday morning. The food was so good. I was eating about 2 meals a day though, because there was too much food. They were very, very large portions. So yeah, we went to, we had breakfast, and what else did we do on Sunday? So other things we did the High Line, which is gorgeous, so beautiful, boiling hot. It was one of the cooler days, but it felt like the hottest because I think the sun was reflecting off the buildings. The view was amazing. It smelled really good. So we did the High Line, we did the Brooklyn Bridge. We did quite a lot actually. We did the Met on Sunday, I forgot to say. We did the Met, we did the Museum of Modern Art on Friday. Yeah, so we had a really good time. And Monday we went out for our last meal. We had Thai, we had a lot of Thai actually. We had some really good Korean food on Sunday night, I think it was. I was just eating because it was delicious. I'd long since passed full and I just kept eating because it was so good. And then I had to get up at 4 o'clock on Tuesday morning to catch a flight home, which was a bit boo. But yeah, I also worked out while I was there. Where we were staying had a gym, and I went and I did my kind of warm up is an inclined walk. I didn't have proper trainers with me. I had just like walking trainers, so I didn't do a run, but then my friend really put me through my paces with weights, and convinced me actually that I can do weights and that I should do weights because actually they would really massively help me improve my speed. So I'm very keen to keep that going over here. And my gym buddy is really inspired to do that too, so watch this space for me becoming super ripped. We all know that's not really gonna happen, right? Yeah, so it was a bit of a whirlwind tour. I got back on Wednesday, no, I didn't get back on Wednesday. I got back Tuesday evening, but it was like midnight, 1 o'clock-ish by the time I got to bed. So I was really glad to have Wednesday off. Did some of my laundry. It's still not quite finished because we're reaching that time of year where things don't dry as quickly, unfortunately. But yeah, so did all my laundry, caught up on my life a little bit, and then was back to work on Thursday, Friday. Back to the grindstone. Immediately super busy. That's startup life though, isn't it, I guess? And I think that's me done for traveling this year. I am talking to a friend about potentially doing something in that kind of couple of weeks between Christmas and New Year. Maybe going up to Scotland, something like that, maybe Wales. But I'm not leaving the British Isles before the end of the year, unless someone makes me an offer I can't refuse. I do really consider myself to be incredibly lucky this year. After 2 years of not really going, well, definitely not going anywhere because pandemic. I've been to Vienna, I've been to Costa Rica, and I've been to New York, which is pretty good going. And I'm just really glad that I said yes to these things and I made them happen, because after 2 years of being inside, it's been absolutely amazing to see the world again, to travel with my friends, just to have fun, feels really good. But this was the first trip that I came home afterwards, to my home, not my family home, my home. And that's kind of cool in itself. But that's it for this week. I have minimal whippage. Knit and Natter was very holiday focused. And now I have to go to the shops. I have to tidy up the flat. I have to go to the shops to get a hair clip so we can tame the shaggy mane. I have to get some milk, I have to get some bread, and then I'm going to go to the pub, frankly. I will probably edit this and get it up for next week sometime. Probably not Monday for obvious reasons. But that's it for this week. And I really hope that I can maintain this consistency. I have a housewarming coming up, but that shouldn't interfere too much with my recording schedule. And as I said, I'm going to be doing some organising soon, so there'll be a little vlog on that as well. But in the meantime, have a lovely week. I hope you are taking good care of yourself, you're feeling good about the impending autumn, you're feeling that knitting mojo rise just like I am, and I will see you very soon for another cup of tea. Take care. Bye.